All right, everyone. Thank you for joining on in. This is the post-game press conference for Merrimack men's basketball head coach Joe Gallo following their 97-90 overtime win against Sacred Heart to start the year. We'll start with an opening statement from Joe, and then we'll throw it over to you guys for questions. So, opening statement, Joe.
It was great to be back. Obviously, we had a huge layoff. With that being said, I hope we don't play games 97-90 all year. That was a little bit out of my comfort zone, if you remember some of our scores from last year. But we got a great group who figured out to win in a different type of way, and kind of used our defense to create turnovers and get some easy baskets when we needed to, and kind of tightened up down the end and got the stops we needed.
Great. So if you guys want to use the raise hand function, and we'll get started on questions.
That's odd.
Mike, do you want to start?
Yeah, the raise hand function is not showing up for some reason.
Okay.
Like it usually does. It's opening a chat window instead. Sorry.
Nope, it's all good.
You kind of alluded to this already, but the offense really spread out. I think you guys had 6 guys in double figures and all 5 starters. So is that? I mean, I know over last year especially, it was kind of keyed in on a couple of guys, but it seems like this year maybe spread out a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so, and I think we could score in a variety of ways. You know, we have kind of elite shot makers in Dev Jensen and Mike Daring, but every one of those guys could make a 3. And then I think this year with Minor and Ziggy Reed, we're going to be a little bit more physical and big up front than a lot of the teams we play. And then with Malik and Mikey, how quick they are with the ball, it's tough keeping them out of the paint. So I think we have some answers in a lot of different ways, and it showed. Different guys took over in different stretches. Malik had his little run. Mikey was terrific in the second half. Minor kept us in it in the first half. Mikel made some big shots in the second half, and then we started going to Ziggy late because we didn't think they could handle him in the post. And he got us 2 big buckets and then a big kick out to Dev Jensen for 3, and we kind of just exploited that mismatch with Zig. So yeah, I think that's how it'll be. 6 guys in double figures is tremendous, but it'd be great to have anywhere from 4 to 6 every game.
David,
Coach,
sorry.
Coach, can you just kind of talk about the start of your second half? Obviously, you went into the locker room down. Probably wasn't the most ideal start that you were kind of hoping for, but you guys kind of got things rolling, as you already mentioned, in the second half, and you used a 13-2 run to completely whittle down a 15-point lead for Sacred Heart at one point.
Yeah, we 2 things that we've done really well is in the past is we limit teams 3-point attempts, and we really turn people over, and we were getting the turnovers in the first half. We were just giving them too many threes. So we extended a little bit. We weren't as worried about them throwing the ball down the floor on us because we got some size back there. We were just kind of really focused on taking away the 3 in the second half, and that led to some tip balls and deflections. And I thought in the first half, there were 5 or 6 times where they were like 50-50 balls that went out of bounds off us that we were just a step slower, a step behind. And, I think when we go back and watch the film, we probably, those were more like 75-25 balls in our favor. We woke up a little bit and got to all those loose balls.
Can you speak a little bit to Minor's game too? I mean, I know he played some big minutes for you last year, but 20 points, 12 rebounds. I mean, you talked about wanting to have that presence down low. Him and Ziggy certainly seem like they're going to be able to provide that, but Jordan in particular able to provide some points and some rebounds here tonight.
Yeah, he's a force down there. When he takes his time, it's really hard to even his misses were kind of like halfway down and out. So when he takes his time, the kid. And I tell you, that kid beats everybody here every day. His work capacity is unbelievable. It's almost worried he could even burn himself out how much he works. So I'm glad to see that pay off. He had, everyone kind of asked us how we're going to replace some of the scoring guys were lost, and we knew what that freshman class, we would take a jump from freshman to sophomore year. I always told people someone's got to score the points. It's not like we're going to get shut out because we graduated through seniors. So I thought those freshmen really took a huge jump into sophomores.
You talked about Daring a lot last year too, and how he was just kind of snake bitten, and it kind of felt like, if you knew he was a good shooter and it was going to come along. And I think, I get it open here in front of me, 5, 4, 7, and 3 of 6 from 3. I mean, is that the type of shooter you think he can be?
Yeah, he is an elite shooter. His role, to stick up for him a little bit, his role last year was tough. When you're playing 10 minutes a game, your only job is, and I wouldn't even say that. He almost took that as his only job was to come in and make shots. And it's hard when you get a couple of 0 for 2s, 0 for 3s, 1 for 4s. His percentage wasn't a reflection of how good of a shooter he really is. Am I still here?
Yep.
Sorry about that. I lost. So now with him, he knows he's going to play more minutes. He's not living or dying by every shot. I think last year was a little bit like, if I don't make a shot, I'm going to come out. He can come out and miss his first 3, similar to Dev Jensen. Right, Dev was 1 for 5 and finished 3 for 7. Right, those guys. I told them I'd love for between the two of them to take 15 threes every game, and they took 13. So they're going to continue to let it fly with confidence.
David?
Coach.
Hey, sorry, my camera's not working. I don't know what's going wrong here, but first, just what did it mean to the team to finally get back on the court after such a long wait?
You know what? It's a strange time, as you know, and it's even up until, it's not like, you get a bunch of, we're testing 3 days a week. It's impossible to do this, but for all of our psyche, it would almost be great if you knew, like, you were good for 3 days after a test to play a game. You're literally testing the day before, and you're finding out the morning of if you're going to play the game or not. So it's really hard it's hard for me, but imagine 18 to 22-year-old kids, going to bed and waking up, waiting to see a buzz on their phone that tells them what their COVID test is. So when we finally, got the news that this was going to be the first game and we were cleared to play, they were really excited. And, we had a good run. We had, all of September and October through into November without really any pauses. So we did get a lot of practices in. We got a lot of stuff in. We just had some bad timing with, our 2 pauses happened to come right when the game started. So, we know what we need to do now, and we got to get our wind back a little bit. I think that probably affected our defense a little bit. But I told these guys there's been a lot of splits. There hasn't been too many sweeps in these series. Sacred Heart has lost on night 1 and won on night 2 in every series they played in so far. So they're in the weight room right now. I actually was late because I just made them all chug a water with me. I didn't finish it. I kind of hit it and walked out and finished it in the hallway. But, we got to recuperate, get a good night's sleep, and be ready to go tomorrow.
Coach, you brought up the ability to kind of stretch defensively in the second half there and kind of take away the 3-point shot from them. How do you more specifically kind of shift your focus towards Tyler Thomas? I mean, he was kind of killing you from lights out early on. How do you kind of, not necessarily put a spotlight on him, but really limit his effectiveness early tomorrow night so you're not chasing early again?
I think we just got to communicate it better. We these guys, like Jaleel Lord of last year, if we told him a guy was a shooter, he'd be screaming the whole possession. Like, he's on your side, he's on my side, he's up top, he's behind you. This crew's got to, as talented as we are, it's the first time they've ever played a game together. So, I know we're good enough talent-wise. I told these guys they got to kind of develop that edge and identity that last year's crew had. So that'll come. We even going back to our Northeast 10 days, we've usually done a really good job on the other team's best player. We've had some games of guys who average 20 a game, holding them to 6 or 8, and Thomas got away from us a little bit, and he saw those first couple go in, and then he becomes, Superman, and he's throwing them in from 30 feet.
David?
Mikey Watkins really seemed to spark your rally, early in the second half. Just talk about his game today and what he did during that.
Yeah, that guy is unbelievable defensively. Everyone always asks are we still going to get the steals we got last year with Javaris Khan, and the answer is yes, because the guy standing next to Javaris was the second best steal guy in the league, and he starts it with his defense, and now he's I give him credit. He came in. He's been a point guard in high school. He knew that it was Javaris's ball for until his time was up, and he fought and figured out a way to play alongside him. And now it's more Mikey's team, and no matter the best thing about him is no matter if he's making shots, playing well on offense, he always gives us that kind of Marcus Smart edge on the defensive end. And 5 steals tonight. I'll be shocked if he does not lead the conference in steals this year.
Closing question?
Coach, I know that the game went to overtime, but still, you got to be happy with your offensive output tonight. I mean, 97 points, regardless of whether it went to an extra time frame or not. That's still a lot of points for a team that really strives and tries to make their living on the defensive half of the court.
Yeah, it was. Guys made big plays. It seemed like anytime we needed a basket, whoever's number we called kind of came through with the basket. So, I told these guys it's going to be someone different every night. They're very unselfish. If one guy's got it going, they're totally fine with continuing to go hot games. So I think we have a lot of weapons in a lot of different ways. So if we're not making shots, we can throw aside and get fouled a little bit more than we did last year. So hopefully that offense continues. We'll tighten up on that other end tomorrow.
Great. Thank you much. The Warriors are back in action tomorrow at 4 o'clock for their second game against Sacred Heart. Thanks, guys.